Hello everyone, welcome to CNA, the daily newspaper analysis. So today we have got the following topics to discuss. So let's start. First topic goes with Vikram being the self-reliant India. Okay, so it's a very common thing today now. Okay, because in every news platforms you are directly knowing about that India is directly launching or India directly launched the second aircraft carrier of its, which is directly known as Vikrant. So the commissioning of the Navy's first indigenous aircraft carrier as INS Vikrant. Okay, so if I say about this naval ship, okay, so if I directly go back to the history, from the first indigenous warship, that is INS Ajay in 1960, to the first indigenous frigate, that is INS Nilgiri in 1968, to the commissioning of the first indigenously designed and built aircraft carrier INS Vikrant. It is a significant punctuation in India's pursuit of self-reliance, that is Atmanirbhar Bharat. Okay, so if I say about the INS Vikrant, I can directly say that it is directly around 45,000 tons. Okay, and Vikrant is the largest naval ship to be designed and built in India. And with this accomplishment, the country joins the band of the nations that have demonstrated such capabilities with major countries like US, UK, France, Russia, Italy, and China. Okay, so therefore, it is a very good fit today the country is directly making. So if I say about some of the significance of the Vikrant, so see, the Vikrant, which means what? Courageous. So it is named after India's first aircraft carrier brought from the UK and commissioned in 1961. And the first INS Vikrant was a major symbol of national pride and played an important role in several military operations, including even the 1971 Indo-Pak War, which was being decommissioned by the end of 1997. So now India's first homemade aircraft carrier will carry the name of her illustrious predecessor. Okay, so therefore it is specially important and it is very much a great might today what India is directly possessing with INS Vikrant, because it's directly a net security provider in the Indian Ocean region. With the commissioning of the INS Vikrant, India today is now having two operational aircraft carriers, the other one being INS Vikramaditya. Okay, so therefore today if you directly goes with the other aircraft carriers across the world, you can see about USA going for USS Gerald, that is the R4 class. You can see about China going for Fujian. If you go for UK, then it's the Queen Elizabeth class. Russia, Admiral Kuznetsov. France, Charles de Gaulle. Italy, Kever. So all these respective elements are directly some of the aircraft carriers of these respective states. That is some of the developed states. Okay, so therefore today we could directly see that through some of the various indigenization category, our ability has totally surpassed even some of the developed countries. Okay, so therefore today we are very much proud in having such number of equipment, such number of aircraft carrier, which is totally directly coming under the water. Okay, today who can directly protect us from any type of maritime threats that is directly coming in from the Indian Ocean or the Bay of Bengal or the Arabian Sea region. Okay, so therefore this is the thing associated with Vikram. Coming to the next one, Chinese investment in sea cucumber. Okay, so yes, sea cucumber, what is it? The sea cucumber, what we can see. Okay, so they are some of the marine invertebrates that live on the seafloor. Okay, अगर मान लो ये सागर है, then एकदम लास्ट में एकदम नीचे क्या मिलेगा? ये sea cucumber मिलता है. These are invertebrates. Okay, that is found generally in the seafloor and in only in the tropical regions. Tropical regions, that is within the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, these animals, they are directly named for their unusual oblong shape that resembles a fat cucumber. Okay, cucumber मतलब वो कीड़ा मान लो, ठीक है, कीड़ा बोलते हैं हम लोग हिंदी में. So there are about some around 1250 species of sea cucumber, all of which belongs to the taxonomic class of Holothuridia. Okay, इनका taxonomic class क्या है? Holo, Thuroidea, Holothuridia. Okay, so therefore they have got a good significance in the respective area because they are very much crucial to maintain the balance of ocean habitats. They are an integral part of the coral ecosystem, as one of the main byproducts of the sea cucumber's digestion of sand is calcium carbonate, and this is the essential reason for the survival of the coral reefs. and they act like garbage collectors of the ocean world, and they recycle nutrients, thus playing an important role in keeping the coral reefs in good conditions. But today, we can see that illegal trading and smuggling, since the species is high in demand across Southeast Asia, mainly China, for food and traditional medicine. So today, if I consider about the IUCN Red List, okay, the brown sea cucumber is around endangered. The black spotted sea cucumber is least concerned. Blue sea cucumber is data deficient. So they are directly considered in India. Wildlife Protection Act of 1972 directly considered it among the Schedule 1 species. So in 2020, even the Lakshadweep Islands Administration created the world's first conservation area of around 239 square kilometers for sea cucumbers, because they are such a necessity for the marine life to directly survive. ठीक है, लेकिन क्या करें, चाइनीज लोग बहुत इंटरेस्टेड है इसको खाने के लिए, इसको ट्रेडिशनल मेडिसिन में यूज करने के लिए. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे इसीलिए द चाइनीज इन्वेस्टमेंट इन सी क्यूकम्बर इज डायरेक्टली अ वरी ऑफ द पीपल ऑफ श्रीलंका एज वेल एज द कंट्री ऑफ इंडिया. ओके, चलो. फर्टिलाइजर स्कैर्सिटी में हैम्पर क्रॉप साइकिल. तो ये जनरली एक शॉर्ट है अबाउट द यूक्रेन रशिया वार. ठीक है, तो ये यूक्रेन रशिया वार, वी कैन सी दैट दिस वार हैज डायरेक्टली डिसरप्टेड the fertilizer supply ahead of the sowing for the kharif season. Okay, so because of the shortfall of this fertilizers, okay, we can see that which is where does directly the crops directly want such number of fertilizers. They are today facing various number of challenges, because to meet the requirements of the production, the fertilizers necessity is very much of important. Okay, now while the government has maintained that there will be no fertilizer shortage for the upcoming season, the challenge includes even securely supplying from a new source, which may be costlier. Okay, because in some point of time, even the pandemic of COVID has impacted the fertilizer production, its respective import, its respective transportation. Even major fertilizer exporters such as China have gradually reduced their exports in a view of dip in production, which have impacted around many countries. Okay, because today if you see about the respective fertilizers, supposedly if I say about the DAP, that is the diammonium phosphate, okay, this diammonium phosphate production and its supply is very less as compared to the earlier times. Today if I see about the country of India, so the kharif season around June to October is very crucial for India's food security, as it accounts for almost half of the year's production of food grains, 1/3 of the pulses, 2/3 of the oilseeds. So therefore, we have to directly produce, or we have to directly get a suitable amount of fertilizers. But today, if you see, supposedly for Kharif season, we directly need some around 354 LMT, of which urea accounts for some proportion, the LMT accounts for some proportions, the NPK, that is the nitrogen, phosphate, and potash, they account for some proportions. But today, because of the shortage of the supply, we can see the requirement directly varied each month according to the demand. So today, according to the data which is very much available, we have directly got a shortage. Okay, so we have got a shortage just because we directly import such number of fertilizers directly from countries of the respective European nations. Okay, even if I am directly procuring from China, so China today is directly not allowing such number of fertilizers to reach, because of the slowdown of the respective production of fertilizers. तो इसीलिए थोड़ा बहुत हम लोग का यहाँ पे वेरी चल रहा है, and therefore this is the respective news in progress. Next पे आते हैं price cap on Russian oil. तो if I see about the G7 countries, okay, तो यहाँ पे क्या है, रशियन ऑयल के बारे में थोड़ा बहुत बोला गया है. See, the members of the G7 recently have agreed to impose a price cap on the Russian oil in a bid to hit the Moscow's ability to finance the war in Ukraine. क्योंकि ये लोग तेल बेच के क्या कर रहे हैं, पैसा ही तो ले रहे हैं. So the cap on crude oil and petroleum products would help reduce global energy prices, and the cap will be set at the level based on the range of technical inputs. Okay, because if I see about the G7 countries, which consist of countries like US, UK, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, and Japan. Okay, so the group is an organization of the world's largest advanced economies, which dominates the global trade and international financial system directly run across them. So the introduction of the price cap on Russian oil means countries that sign up to the policy will only be permitted to purchase Russian oil and petroleum products that should be transported via the seas that are sold at or below the price cap. Okay, so therefore this is the current thing that is directly happening with respect to the G7 countries. So today, if I see about India as well as the Chinese approach towards the Russian oil, today we can see that China and India are directly the major trading partners of Russia. Okay, and they may not follow G7 policy on Russian oil because they have not joined the Western sanctions targeting Russia. In fact, we can see that oil from Russia has been a lot cheaper than the crude from other sources for months due to a combination of various number of reluctance directly giving on by the respective country of Russia. Okay, so therefore, though the energy prices have soared since Russia has invaded Ukraine, and the revenues from oil sales have been helping to finance Vladimir Putin's aggression. So therefore, the G7 directly agreed to have a cap on the price of the Russian oil in a certainly symbolic manner. Okay, तो ये respective news था about the Russian oil cap. Okay, next आता है Poland 6 German war reparations. तो ये बस बोला गया है about कि पोलैंड बोला गया है कि लाइक जो कि जितने भी हम लोग का यहाँ पे लोग आप लोग ने मारे थे ड्यूरिंग द वर्ल्ड वॉर 2, तो इसके आप लोग भरपाई कीजिए. ओके, ये बेकार सब बात होता है, ठीक है, लोग पूछते हैं लेकिन जर्मनी कभी देगा नहीं उनको, ठीक है, तो ये सब इश्यू चलता रहता है. लेकिन हम लोग को लिए क्या है, सिंस पोलैंड एंड जर्मनी इज न्यूज, सो देयरफॉर हम लोग का थोड़ा बहुत पोलैंड का जो मैप है, पोलैंड का लोकेशन है, पोलैंड का इंपॉर्टेंट टेरिटोरीज, इंपॉर्टेंट रिवर्स, ओके, इंपॉर्टेंट फिजिकल स्ट्रक्चर्स, तो ये सब थोड़ा बहुत हम लोग को इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है, ठीक है. और पोलैंड और जर्मनी के बीच में सपोजली इफ आई सेल अबाउट द वार्सो पैक्ट, ओके, तो ये सब जो ट्रीटीज हुआ था, ये सब हुआ था ड्यूरिंग द टाइम ऑफ वर्ल्ड वॉर 2, सच थिंग्स बिकम्स इंपॉर्टेंट. तो दिस थिंग्स इज वेरी मच इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द रेस्पेक्टिव वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री. वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री के लिए वर्ल्ड वॉर 2 कॉजेस ये सब इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है थोड़ा, ठीक है. लेकिन द न्यूज इज डायरेक्टली कंसिडर्ड ऑन व्हाट, द रेस्पेक्टिव इंडेमनिशन दैट इज डायरेक्टली डिमांडेड बाय पोलैंड बिकॉज द जर्मन किल्ड मेनी नंबर ऑफ पोलिश ड्यूरिंग द टाइम ऑफ द वर्ल्ड वॉर 2, ठीक है. तो ये एक न्यूज था. एनपीटी इज बिगिनिंग लुक शेकी. तो ये एनपीटी के बारे में क्या बोल रहा है, दैट इज द नॉन प्रोलिफरेशन ट्रीटी. So see, if I say about the non-proliferation treaty, you can see that it is an international treaty whose objective is to prevent what? The spread of the nuclear weapons and weapons technology. Okay, and that is to foster the peaceful uses of this nuclear energy and to further the goal of disarmament. This treaty was directly signed around in 1968 and entered into force around 1970. So presently, this NPT has got around 190 member states. And if I say about the country of India, India is not a member of NPT because it requires the countries to give up any present or future plans to build nuclear weapons in return for access to peaceful uses of nuclear energy. So therefore, what it represents? It represents the only binding commitment in a multilateral treaty to the goal of disarmament by the nuclear weapon states. So therefore, if I say about the nuclear weapon state parties under the NPT are defined as those parties that have manufactured and exploded a nuclear weapon or other nuclear explosive devices before 1st of January 1967. इससे पहले जो लोग किया है वो लोग डायरेक्टली टेक पार्ट कर सकते हैं in this respective NPT. So what is the India stand with respect to NPT? So India is one of the only 5 countries that either not signed an NPT or signed but withdrew later, thus becoming part of the list that includes even Pakistan, Israel, North Korea, and South Sudan. Okay, so India also always considered the NPT as discriminatory and had refused to sign it because India has opposed the international treaties aimed at non-proliferation since they were very much selectively applicable to non-nuclear powers that have legitimized the monopoly of the 5 nuclear weapon powers. Okay, so there are various issues. Okay, issues बहुत रहता है NPT में, जैसे failure of the disarmament process, system of nuclear haves and have-nots, ठीक है, तो then post Cold War challenges. Okay, so there are various problems associated with this. तो इसीलिए the NPT is beginning to look set. तो यहाँ पे थोड़ा बहुत ये बात बोला गया है कि like this is totally biased in nature. Because today, if I see about the rising energy demands have led to the growing number of countries pursuing nuclear energy. And many countries wish to be energy independent in order to ensure a sustainable and dependable domestic energy supply. So thus the challenge for the international community will be to reconcile states' desire for energy independence with their desire to both reduce the intrusiveness of the IAEA, thereby following the safeguards and diminishing the possibility of proliferation. Therefore, more regions in the world, preferably comprising the NWS, okay, so should enter into an arrangement of establishing nuclear-free zones. Further, also we can see about the Treaty of the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons is a step in the right direction for nuclear disarmament. So, अगर हम लोग को nuclear disarmament करना है, तो पहले कौन करे? यूएसए करे, यूके करे, चाइना करे, तो वो लोग पहले करें, तो हम लोग क्यों? हम लोग ने तो बहुत बाद में बनाया है। तो तुम लोग पहले दिशा अमेंडमेंट करो, उसके बाद हम लोग अपना सोचेंगे। तो therefore India is directly not a member of this respective treaty. ठीक है, तो this was all about the NPT, which is directly discussed about in the analysis of the editorial. Okay, so this is all. So यहाँ पे देख सकते हो the countries associated with this, the parties who are not a part of the non-river treaty. तो यहाँ पे देख सकते हो about the nuclear non-proliferation treaty. Okay, चलो ये 5 questions है तुम लोग के लिए. You can directly attempt. Answers you will get in the Telegram channel of us. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you and